Grace had learned many things during her 3 years aboard the Celestial Harmony Station, but nothing quite prepared her for the chaos of taking 4 Vraxian cubs shopping. "Miss Grace, I promise they'll behave," Ambassador Krell had said that morning, his scaled face attempting what humans might call a reassuring smile. The Vraxians were apex predators on their homeworld, 8 feet of muscle, claws, and hunting instinct. Their cubs, while smaller, retained every ounce of that predatory nature. Now, standing at the entrance of the Galactic Market Plaza, with 4 knee-high Vraxian younglings circling her legs, Grace questioned every life decision that had led to this moment. "All right, cubs," she said, crouching down to meet their vertical pupilled eyes. "We're here to buy supplies for your father's reception. That means we follow the list, stay together, and absolutely no hunting the merchandise." The eldest cub, Zrax, tilted his head. "But the fish vendor, especially no hunting at the fish vendor, Zrax." What Grace didn't know was that station security had already flagged her group. On their monitors, 4 Vraxian signatures moving in formation around a single human looked identical to a pack hunting pattern. "Sir, we have a possible code vermilion," the Zentari security officer reported to his supervisor. 4 Vraxian juveniles, coordinated movement circling a human female. Frankie, the station's human security chief, glanced at the screen and suppressed a smile. He recognized Grace immediately, the diplomatic liaison with a reputation for befriending the galaxy's most unlikely species. "Let's observe for now, but keep a team ready." Inside the plaza, Grace's expedition had reached the produce section. "The cubs had discovered Earth tomatoes. These are weapons?" asked Cree, the smallest cub, holding one up with reverent claws. "No, sweetie, they're food, but they're red. Like blood fruits from home." Grace watched as all 4 cubs grabbed tomatoes, comparing sizes and presumably imagining them as prey. Other shoppers gave them a wide berth. A Fluvian merchant actually sealed his stall. On the security feed, this looked even worse. "They're selecting projectiles," the Zentari officer announced. "Pattern suggests siege preparation." Frankie leaned forward. The cubs were indeed selecting items with surprising coordination, but he noticed Grace calmly placing items in her cart, completely unfazed. "Hold position," he ordered. The real chaos began at the meat counter. The Karathi butcher, a 6-armed insectoid, took one look at the approaching Vraxians and nearly climbed into his own freezer. Grace tried to calm him. "We just need 5 pounds of synth protein." Any variety. But the cubs had spotted something else. A promotional display of mechanical fishing lures, darting on automated lines like living prey. What happened next would be analyzed in security training for years to come. The cubs moved as one unit. Drax went high, leaping onto a display shelf. Kree and Mora flanked left and right, their movements perfectly synchronized. The youngest, Tixis, created a distraction by knocking over a tower of canned goods. The lures never stood a chance. "Tactical strike," the security officer shouted. "All units converge." Frankie was already moving, but not to intercede. He'd seen something the others missed. Grace wasn't panicking. She was laughing. "Excellent teamwork, cubs," she called out, applauding. "Now put them back. Those aren't for hunting. They're for sale." The cubs, panting with exhilaration, immediately complied. They lined up the lures with surprising gentleness, even attempting to straighten the cans they'd toppled. Frankie arrived just as the full security team surrounded the scene, weapons drawn on the organized raid. "Stand down," he ordered immediately. The officers looked confused, especially when they saw the Vraxian cubs sitting obediently while Grace paid for the damaged goods. "Grace," Frankie said, shaking his head with amused exasperation, "do you have any idea what this looked like on our monitors?" She looked up at him, her brown eyes twinkling. "Let me guess, coordinated assault? Pack hunting? Imminent massacre? All of the above." Zrax looked up at Frankie with innocent eyes that would have been adorable if not for the rows of sharp teeth. "Were we bad predators, Chief Frankie?" Frankie's stern expression cracked. "No, kid. You were actually very good predators. That's the problem." Grace stood, cubs clustering around her like a protective detail. "They're just shopping, Frankie. Humans do it all the time. Humans don't naturally move in kill formations." "No," Grace agreed, ruffling Tixis's head scales. "We just convinced everything else on Earth that running away from us was futile." Different approach, same result. This gave Frankie pause. He'd never quite thought of human persistence hunting in those terms. The Karathi butcher, still trembling behind his counter, chimed in. "How do you do it, human?" They're apex hunters. They could tear you apart. Grace smiled and pulled out her shopping list. Because I brought snacks. She handed each cub a protein bar. And because humans are really, really good at making friends with predators. We did it with wolves, remember? Turned them into dogs. Frankie watched as the cubs munched contentedly, their tails swishing with satisfaction. The other shoppers slowly emerged from their hiding spots. Witnessing the impossible. A lone human with 4 predator cubs. Shopping peacefully, you know, Frankie said. You're giving my security team stress disorders. They're Vraxians, Frankie, not monsters. Besides, humans have been dealing with predators for thousands of years. We learn to understand them, respect them, and sometimes take them shopping. As if to prove her point, Zrax offered Frankie his remaining protein bar, a gesture of pack sharing. The security chief accepted it, properly humbled. Next time, maybe warn us first. Where's the fun in that? As Grace led her cubs toward the checkout, station security stood down, though they kept the footage. It would become legendary the day a human reminded the galaxy that Earth's true superpower wasn't technology or weapons, it was befriending anything with teeth and convincing it to behave in public, even if public still occasionally looked like an organized raid. Back at the security office, the Zentari officer replayed the footage. I still don't understand how she did it. Frankie smiled. That's humanity for you. We domesticated the wolf, tamed the horse, and befriended every predator we met. These cubs never stood a chance. Against what? Against becoming her shopping buddies. And somewhere in the plaza, 4 Vraxian cubs learned the most dangerous truth about humans. They didn't conquer predators through fear. They conquered them through friendship and snacks. Mostly snacks. The end.